bum 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 dun dun da-da-dun 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 da-dun ba-da. Hey guys, welcome to Allie and CoCo Science Show. It is officially fall. And I want to do some fun fall flavors. I want to make something for my friends. I mean, it's quarantine. What else am I going to be doing? And I know what you're thinking. Oh, pumpkin, maple, cinnamon. No. Today I'm going to be making beautyberry jelly. What's beautyberry, you say? We've done a video about beautyberry in the past, and I'm going to leave a link down in the description for that previous video. But beautyberry is Callicarpa americana, found in the mint family. There are almost 200 species in the genus Callicarpa, found all around the world. But Callicarpa americana is native right here to the southeastern parts of the United States. Callicarpa means beautiful berry because all the species will create purplish blue berries when ripe. And here in the United States, Callicarpa americana is fruiting right now in the fall. I'm seeing so many awesome purple berry bushes all over my neighborhood, and they're so beautiful. Callicarpa americana is one of my favorite plants in the United States, and it's just really, there's so many cool things about it, and we're gonna talk about it while making jelly. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is sanitize your equipment, sanitize your jars. It's just like when you're fermenting with like beer, wine, and cheese. You wanna make sure there's absolutely nothing living in there anymore. Kill all life forms in your jar. Get all those microorganisms out of there. What I did was I set my oven to 350 degrees. I put all my jars in a cookie sheet and I just put it in the oven for about 10 minutes. That should kill everything. You're definitely gonna wanna make sure they cool before you eat them because they are really hot and made of glass. Don't be scared, it's okay, it's just jars. Bad jokes. And for the lids, I boiled that for about 10 minutes as well. We wanna make sure our jelly remains preserved and not unpreserved and disgusting. Now you can buy all sorts of like chemically based sanitizers, those will work just as well, but I'm cheap, lazy, and I don't want to have like a huge vat of some like chemical I'm only going to use every now and then. So I just went with the baking method and it works fine. First you need about 4 cups of beautyberries. Make sure you wash and de-stem them. I actually got my berries from the hugest beautyberry bush I've ever seen at the dog park. And yes, while we were there, Colette really wanted to go bark at a squirrel, but she wanted me to point and tell her to go do it. So enjoy this video of me trying to forage with my hands while pointing with my legs to get Colette to go bark at this squirrel. And finally when I used my hand, she went and did it. So, you know, Colette, you can always go bark at squirrels if you want to, okay? Now if you are foraging out in the wilderness, like at a park or something, make sure you do save some beautyberry for the wildlife. Because did you know that there are about 20 to 40 odd species of birds that will feed on the beautyberries, as well as many mammals like armadillos and white-tailed deer. So first we're going to simmer our 4 cups of beautyberries in water. How much water, you say? We're gonna go by my great-grandma's rules. Oh, enough. Just make sure the berries are covered. I used about 5 cups of water to get enough in my pot here. And we're gonna simmer that for about 20 minutes. You'll notice over this period of time that the purple berries will lose their color very quickly. That's because a lot of blues and purples in plants are caused by a compound called anthocyanin. It's a water-soluble pigment. While seeing these colors drain out of the berries is a very easily explained scientific process, I like to also think of it as a representation of us infusing the water with not only the color, but the compounds in the berries. Which reminds me, what compounds are found in beautyberry? There are 4 main compounds within many parts of the plant: borneol, intermediol, spatholineol, and callicarpanol. These compounds are key to many of the uses humans have used this plant for hundreds of years. I mentioned Callicarpa americana is found throughout the southeast United States, basically from East Texas down through Florida and up to Maryland. Within this range, there were many different indigenous people, such as the Alabama, Coasati, Choctaw, and Seminole people, just to name a few, that use American beautyberry as a medicinal plant. This plant was so incredibly useful for so many different ailments. They would use the roots, stems, leaves, and berries, steep it in teas, use it in a bunch of different recipes to help with so many things: dizziness, cramps, rheumatism, colic. And one cool thing is to help with joint issue, they'd actually steep it in a bath, kind of like doing like an Epsom salt bath. Not only that, this plant was extremely useful in keeping away mosquitoes with those key compounds. The indigenous people would actually rub it on their horses as well to keep mosquitoes off of their horses. Isn't that so sweet? And you know, if you think about it, you know, plants create a lot of these kinds of compounds to keep away herbivores, keep away insects. So it only makes sense that a lot of these compounds would help with the same thing for people. Come to think of it, now that I'm smelling it, now when I was de-stemming it, it does kind of smell very like medicinal, like, or almost like a craft store, like I'm in a Michael's or something. I'm gonna assume that's because of these compounds. And I bet I've chased away every mosquito for miles while I've been cooking these berries. Also, beautyberry is an astringent, and the berries on their own supposedly don't taste very good. In fact, they taste very bleh, and I've never actually tried one. You know what, I'll try it for science though. I've got my little berries. What is she doing? What's mommy doing? They're not terrible. Oh my god. They're very seedy. I don't think you want... They're okay, you know, not a lot of flavor, very mealy and seedy, but I promise the jelly's really good. I've already made it before. You're gonna love it. So while my fruit is simmering, I'm going to prepare my pectin. If you need a low sugar alternative, there are other pectins that you can get that will still gel without the excess sugar, and by excess I mean completely necessary. Now I'm following the directions to activate my pectin just from their instructions, but just so you know what I'm doing, I'm putting it in water and dissolving it, letting it boil for a minute. Okay, so we've let our berries simmer for about 15 minutes. We've got all the juices, colors, compounds in our water. Now, what the heck do? We need to get rid of all the plant bits. We don't actually want that in our jelly. So what I'm gonna do is pour it into a bowl through a sieve and then pour it back into the pot. So once you have your juice back in your pot, add your 3 cups of sugar. It looks like a lot. It is a lot. That's fine. And once you have your sugar dissolved, add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and the pectin that you prepared earlier. And we're gonna let it simmer for about 15 minutes. Now, what the heck is pectin? Well, pectin is a polysaccharide, which is just a really long carbohydrate chain. And we actually get it from ripe fruit, from like the core of apples or the skin of oranges. It's just so cool what we've come up with over hundreds of years of just making and exploring food and somehow not dying in the process. Now, how does it work? Well, sugar molecules and water are polar, so they have kind of like a magnetic pole toward each other. So when we dissolve the sugar in the water, they bound together. Pectin, to make a jelly, needs both a lot of sugar as well as an acidic environment. Now, water is naturally a very neutral pH of 7, and we need to lower that pH. Lemon juice has a pH of 2. It's very acidic. So in adding lemon juice to this, we can lower the pH of our juice so that the pectin molecules bind together, creating a very strong structure, making a jelly. You know, I've never actually tasted pectin. Got a little pectin test, ready? Ooh, it's not very good. Ooh, kind of sour. Ooh. Oh, it's tart. Now, while we let this bad boy simmer, let's talk more about Callicarpa americana, because I know you didn't just click on this for a jelly making tutorial. You came here to learn about botany. I mentioned Callicarpa is in the mint family, Lamiaceae. However, it wasn't always in Lamiaceae. It used to be in Verbenaceae, or the vervain family. While both the mint and the vervains have opposite leaves that are often aromatic, they do have some traits that are not in common. The mints have bilabiate flowers, and when the fruit ripens, they'll be in 4 nutlets. The vervains will have more radial symmetry flowers and berries. So looking at the fruits and flowers of our beautyberry, what the heck would you think this is in? That's right, you'd probably say vervain. If you said mints, you're either really smart or really good at paying attention, or both. The beautyberry flowers and fruits are very similar to what you would see in the vervain family, which is why scientists had it placed in vervain for a long time. But in more recent times, taxonomists have determined that beautyberry has what's called determinate growth. You see what I did there? Determinate. What that means is the main stalk does not continue growing. It kind of ends at an inflorescence or a fruit. And using DNA, scientists further confirm that yes, Callicarpa is in the mint family. Whoo! Okay, so we've simmered our juice, our lemon juice, our pectin, and our sugar for about 15 minutes. Now what do? Well, we need to make sure this is gonna set. So I'm doing what's called the spoon test. You can dip a spoon in and see if any gel stays on the back, or if you're like impatient and worried like I am all the time, you can freeze a little spoonful of your juice, of your mixture, for about 5 minutes and see if it'll set. So that's what I've done. Let's check it out. So I'm a little impatient. It's a little bit liquidy still. It hasn't fully set, but you can see on the back that there's some jelly sitting on my spoon. So it's ready to pour. Now, if you want to make sure they have a longer shelf life, put the jars sealed in a hot water bath. It's like a little jam jar jacuzzi. And then I just let the jelly sit overnight in the fridge. I actually did a jelly yesterday, and ooh, look at that jelly. Now, if you don't have the right amounts of like pectin to sugar to lemon juice to water ratio, you might get a watery jelly. We need to have enough of an acidic environment, enough sugar to have the pectin bind to each other to make that jelly structure. I wanted to make jelly for the longest time. My great grandma used to make jelly, and it just seemed like such a cool but hard experience. So I never tried it until recently, and it's actually really easy and has a whole bunch of science to it, which you know me, I like to nerd out. I like to nerd out in the kitchen, okay? So for the question of the week, I wanna know, have you ever made jelly? And do you have a favorite jelly? I love beautyberry jelly. It's one of my favorites, and I actually made it into Pop-Tarts, which I should do a video of. You're right. But I also really like something with a little kick, like a pepper jelly. So I love those. Oh. You're not supposed to have sugar, Colette, but I guess it's my fault for dropping it. So don't forget to comment down below, what is your favorite type of jelly, and have you ever made jelly before? And hit that subscribe button to follow for more adventures, and hit that like button if you learned something new about making jelly, pectin, or you learned about my dog's eating habits, or you just think she's cute, like whatever. Anyway, thanks for jamming with me today, guys. And thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye. We jamming. I hope you like jamming too.